fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Oh. Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
It's got a little bit of everything, this place, doesn't it? High speed, sharp braking, overtakes. It's got the lot, hasn't it? It's got an incredibly quick car, the Mercedes W12E Performance. I tell you what it's also got. It's got one brilliant championship fight that's bringing itself down to the end. And this is the place of places where if you want to go and fight for it, you've got to really prove your mettle. This is the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps on the cycling road of Liège, Bastogne-Liège. This is one of the most amazing racetracks in the world, and you can't ask for much more when it comes to the iRacing Grand Prix Series here on SimSpeed TV. I'm Jake Sperry, Jay Kennedy, along with me for the ride as per usual. And Jay, just 4 meters beyond 7 kilometers, this track, a 21-turn Titan that has for year upon year proven from an old layout to a newer layout and to what is now one of the great all-round circuits that has had all the due care and diligence and attention when it became a proper full-time road surface and a full-time racetrack. This is the track of tracks when it comes to putting a Formula-style vehicle on the road.
When you think Formula cars, this is the track that you instantly think of, isn't it? It's this place, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, one of the best in the world. Such an iconic track, brilliant layout, such iconic turns, undulation mixed with the shape of the corners just provides brilliant action. We're going to see a fantastic race here. Qualifying at the moment is very, very tight. The championship is very, very tight. The drivers are always very, very tight as well when we see them out on track. This just brings out one of the greatest shows we're going to see all season. I love it when we come here each and every year.
Yeah, we absolutely do. And this is where you have to be at your absolute best. You've got corners out there like Stavelot, like Blanchimont, Eau Rouge and Radion that always prove to be very tough corners. Up then towards Malmedy, of course. And the championship right now is looking interesting. So this is 2 drop rounds removed. Kalen Chin on top by about 60 points. Oliver Stepanov in second has missed the last 2 rounds. Matteo Ugolotti in third with no drop rounds, has to be flawless from this point onwards. Luis Nunez fourth, Marcel Fassbender in fifth, holding everything together. Felipe Giro, Brazilian, not German. But you look all the way down towards 10th position, likes of Oyvind Horgland, all there. Let's flip it over, though, and put all 4 drop rounds in. That's what's going to make it a little bit more interesting. And it finds itself in a position where Matteo Ugolotti is clear, and he's clear by over 125 points right now, which is a staggering amount at this stage. But it's also the sort of margin, Jay, that says one wrong move and that gap is gone, especially with a 5.2 strength of field today. And drivers like Kalen Chin, Oliver Stepanov, they're going to step up to the plate and say, points, we'll have those.
Yeah, exactly right. The one important thing to note with Matteo Ugolotti is he's got no drop rounds to spare. Kalen Chin, he's raced every race but one, so he's in a much better position points-wise. Stepanov, as you said, missed the last 2 weeks, so he now really has to put in good performances in this one. It's shaping up to be a brilliant end of the championship. It's going to be very, very entertaining to watch, and I cannot wait to see how it does play out. It's going to be a very, very tight. Only a minute and a half left in qualifying, and I tell you what, qualifying is even shaping up to be an interesting affair as well. Lots of drivers not able to get in really good lap times. The one that we're not surprised about that seems to always struggle getting a lap in is this man here, Kalen Chin. He went out there, tried to do a lap, aborted it on his outlap, and now trying to punch one in with not much time left on the clock.
pushing right to the limits, down the hill, moving through double, goes to the left, having a little bit of correction as he goes through, which would have been scary as he tries to fight. Moving through now, the Fania chicane, the right and the left here as you go through. Luis Nunez now up into third. Oliver Stepanov can only manage fourth position. Running through then all of the curb now as he moves through Stavolo and into this final sector. And this is where pace is so important. It's a track which has to be set up really difficultly for, because you've got that really technical middle sector that does take away a lot of the power out there. John Petarunda briefly goes sixth as Oyvind Horgland steps up and jumps up ahead. Felipe Giro in fifth position overall. But Kalen Chin looking for the line, needing a good time. It's a 48.21, and it's good enough then to move fourth fastest overall as the timer is about to expire in this session with about 10 seconds to go. And I believe there is not going to be anyone else available to set a time, so we can run ourselves through the grid then here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Split field 3 times here for Spa, which we absolutely love to see, but it is the same old faces at the front. Matteo Ugolotti at 140.069 will have Tamas Simon for company on the front row. Luis Nunez will fight it out from third with Kalen Chin in fourth. Oliver Stepanov starts fifth with Felipe Giro. Great work from him. He's up in position number 6. Seventh, great qualifying from Ari Korkadilos as he moved on forward. The last time we saw Ari race was over at the Hockenheim Ring last season, and he really proved to be an aggressive driver with Oyvind Horgland in 8th position. It's 2 Norwegians in a row because John Petarunda starts in 9th with Marcel Fassbender a little down the order in 10th. Behind him is Harry Draper in 11th and Kent Nielsen in 12th position. Yestin Chiapalone will start from 13th along with Anthony Catt in 14th. The rear of the field pretty much populated by people from Club UK and Ireland and Great Britain itself, with James Dempster and Thomas Veek. The only difference there, the Dane in 16th, Philip Yates and Adam Webb 17th and 18th. And the last driver in the field a little off in terms of qualifying time, just trying to get back into the swing of things, is Christoph Montz in 19th. 2 minutes though to get themselves gridded up. They must, over the course of racing today, change their tyres over these 21 laps. They must find a way to make the tyres last. And on top of that, they know it's one of the shortest runs towards turn number 1 and the last source hairpin. So if they do get this one wrong early, they could be in a world of hurt, because it is a long run up Eau Rouge and Radion over to the Kemmel Straight, and the run up, of course, towards Les Combes as they go through. The last couple of drivers waiting to situate themselves on the grid, just waiting for Kalen Chin and for Ari Korkadilos to get themselves up on the grid in their positions. Kalen Chin jumps on. For Ari, it's a wait of 3, 2, 1, and will decide to start then from the pits. So that will be a conscious decision. Let's get ourselves into position, though. 21 laps here at Spa. Lights on, lights out. And we're underway. It's a pretty decent start all round. Tamas Simon's going to get even then as they run on the brakes early through the opening section of track. Nice and clean then from the front 5 drivers as it all checks up. One around in the background, though, is Thomas Veek. His race, he's had a horrible run of this season, and he did that all on his own under braking as the rear completely stepped up. Up they go to Eau Rouge and Radion then for the first time. And we got a bit of fighting already just in the draft. Tamas Simon's got his eyes on the race lead. Big block on Luis Nunez. There's no way through as they get themselves fighting for it. Incredible stuff.
Wow, what a start to the race. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving back in the field. Oyvind Horgland dropped a couple of spots with a little bit of contact through turn 1, but other than Thomas Veek, everyone has made it through safely. Harry Draper through on Marcel Fassbender there too. So Draper with a great start, already up 3 spots. But Christoph Montz up 4 in this early stage.
Up 4 and flying, and of course from the back of the field he'd have got 1, passing Ari Korkadilos, who started from the pits. So that would make life easy. On the brakes they go into the Fania chicane. They will not get the use of the drag reduction system, the rear wing flap, until lap 3 of this race, but they do still have tools available to them, Jay, most notably attack mode on the energy recovery system, the battery, the hybrid engines that they have in these Mercedes W12E performances. It looks like Chiapalone's run into troubles.
Yeah, Chiapalone and Dempster both running into troubles back in the field. Not sure exactly what has happened there. We'll try and pick it up. Yeah, Dempster. A bit of damage, but no front wing on Chiapellone's car, which is going to hurt him a lot in this race.
I'd love to have a look at that, but one lap score complete. Let's have a look at what happened then, thanks to Virtual Racing School, ladies and gentlemen. So this is where they go through. It's coming off of the exit of Stavolo on the medium compound tyres where it goes wrong. So on the power, back end just lets go, and Chiapellone tries to go out of the way, but chose wrong.
Had to guess, and it was always going to be a tough decision to guess which one to go, and I've just gone back way too far, so we won't go to that replay. Chiapellone's come into the pits, and
he has
taking the repairs now, and probably go to hard tyres from here.
Yeah, no surprises there. What might be worth taking a look is everyone except Anthony Catt is on the medium. Catt is on the soft compound tyre, so there's the only driver doing something different today is Anthony Catt out there, and he's got his eyes on Kent Nielsen and a move for 11th position out on track. Might be worth as well here, Jay, having a look at the opening lap incident for Thomas Veek, because it was a very weird accident.
Yep, we'll bring that up in just a second. I was about to say before, I hadn't really got a chance to talk about it, but no surprise, when you've got one driver in this field that's doing an alternate strategy in regards to tyres, you can almost always guess who it's going to be, and that would be Anthony Catt. Last week he surprised us by doing the same as everyone else, but for him that's an alternate strategy, so very, very surprising. DRS at the end of this lap, the start of the next lap. The run down the Camel Straight is going to be very, very interesting. How strong is it? How much will they need to defend? We usually see heavy defense into the corners after the Camel Straight. It's going to be very, very cool to watch.
Unable to break a second then in those 3 laps is Matteo Ugolotti. The gap 7/10 of a second through the opening 2, and suddenly Tamas Simon will have some help on this straight, and it will be interesting to see how much he gets. He gets the green light, which indicates he has DRS. He goes up through Eau Rouge and Radion, waiting for the marker boards, which is just through this flick right, and now he'll get it, and he'll start absolutely flying forward on this straight. Unable to really close up, 13 kilometers an hour only on that straight. He was able to close comparatively to the driver in front, who once again proves that downforce is Matteo Ugalotti's best friend.
Yeah, exactly right. So all about making sure you've got that downforce. We've seen Ugolotti try different things in regards to setup each and every race this season. He doesn't play by the normal rules of everyone else, does he? He tends to do things a little different. Here's the start of the race.
So Christoph Montz then is going to be a car on the right-hand side on the brakes, and car just completely locks up under braking. Would that be something like maybe having the magic button on, for example?
I have no idea what that was. That was just strange, wasn't it? I'm confused. I've got no idea. You're probably more of an expert than me on that. But in saying that, neither of us drive too much, so neither of us probably have a clue.
I know, it's to the point where I can't even drive in the commentator's cut, believe it or not. So it puts me in a really bad position. Here
the worst
comes
bit is I'm
Kalen
going
Chin.
to.
Oh no, that makes it even worse. Kalen Chin can't get there on the run into the final chicane. The 2 off-camber left-handers, big slide from Luis Nunez coming off of the corner. But the good news is that he doesn't have to worry too much towards the Lassour's hairpin. Where he has to worry is now.
Yep. Kalen Chin's been very, very good throughout this season. He's been really clever in the way he's set up the car for overtaking. He hasn't necessarily had the best car in qualifying throughout the season, but he seems to be able to make overtakes. Although last round he did struggle a little bit, pushed a little bit too hard, lost a few spots. Luis Nunez was the one that couldn't get any moves done though last round. In saying that, Kalen Chin through, Nunez didn't fight it at all, and it feels like almost a little bit of a rinse and repeat from last week, where Nunez didn't fight at all when anyone tried to make a move on him.
Well, Nunez was at 315 top-end speed. Kalen Chin's car was at 332. By far and away, he's got a car that punches through in the high-end speed levels.
Fastest car of anyone.
Compared to everyone else. He is the fastest car when he goes through that section as well, and it is a real showcase in terms of how quick he's running and how quick he expects to run in this one. He's really, really flying. Great 5-car train then behind Harry Draper at this point in time. Fassbender, Horglander, and then these two. Anthony Cat, who's fifth in the train, and Kent Nielsen just in front in fourth. This is what we call a DRS train. Everyone has the drag reduction system on each other that becomes almost impossible to pass. Even with soft tyres, Anthony Cat is struggling here.
Yeah, he just can't get through, can he? He's doing everything he can to potentially get a move done, but not able to. Christoph Montz, by the way, has also come into the pits to get a front wing change after an incident as well. And he's also gone back out on soft tyres, which I'm surprised by. He also, as we said, saw Chiapellone in on lap 1, or the end of lap 1, after the contact with Dempster after his accident. He's gone back out on mediums. I'm surprised by that.
I am a little bit surprised as well, and I'm just trying to get an eye out on where the damage may have happened to Christoph Montz, and it looks like lap 2 potentially is where it went wrong. He ran out the back of Philip Yates, who kept going. So there's that. Here comes the move, though, on the front stretch, and just looking at it, it's as easy as 1, 2, and 3 for John Petterunda as he makes the move then on Felipe Giro, jumping up into 6th position. There is Yates as he fights with Adam Webb in the yellow, and along with Adam Webb and Philip Yates, you've got Ari Korkadilos, who did really well in qualifying, decided to start from the pits, and he now is trying to get himself through. This is the fight going on for 13th place. Webb through, of course, this lap on Yates.
Yeah, we saw the end of that move just there. So, very, very nice move. Now, front of the field, bring our attention back here for a second. Last lap by Matteo Ugolotti, 1 minute 44. Oh, hang on. Been an incident back in the field.
Harry Draper. Oh, that's gonna hurt. And that's at Camper's corner, which you don't often have. So on the brakes he went, goes through the right, and something must have gone wrong because he was very slow on the inside, as if something had broken on his car, and then he got absolutely speared into from behind by Marcel Fassbender, who didn't see it coming. Draper hits the brakes, has no drive, it seems, at that point, and then all of a sudden, Marcel Fassbender's got nowhere to go. He's coming in for his stop right now, and that is a really, really interesting accident. This is what Fassbender sees.
Yeah, I think not necessarily the fact that the car was slow, just that it slowed up at the wrong spot, and yeah, a little bit of damage front wing, I'm sure. But yeah, Fassbender, he'll be devastated because he was doing very, very well applying pressure, but yeah, to see him out at this point, very, very difficult to see. Back away he goes. He's gone to what I was expecting us to see earlier with Chiapellone to do, out on the hard compound tyre, not the preferred tyre for the drivers to use. But when you have to come into the pits that early, no real choice. What I was talking about before we saw that replay there, Ugolotti and Simon are being absolutely swamped in regards to lap pace by those guys behind. Chin, Nunez, and Stepanov are all closing that gap down very, very, very quickly.
And that's because they're really good in a straight line. Kalen Chin especially is going to be a maverick when he turns up and tries to find that pass. Where he's going to struggle, though, is this middle sector. This is where he's going to drop all the time, and he's going to need to fight this one all back. So this is where Kalen Chin's going to find some competitive advantage compared to those behind. I've been really surprised to see Oliver Stepanov so far back in 5th position. He's not like miles behind. He's just not in that front fight. We normally expect him as a top 3 driver. Today he's struggling. Maybe this track doesn't suit him as much.
Or it could just be the fact that the other drivers have had a bit more of a competitive edge to them. I mean, they've raced every race this season, but we haven't seen, or every race over the last few weeks, I should say. Stepanov's had a couple of weeks away, from his own words, not enjoying the tracks that we've had on the schedule. So he sort of had to come back in this week because he knows how much pressure there is for the championship. I mean, he's lost the effective championship lead that he had, and now he's in not a great spot championship-wise. So I'll tell you what, Kalen Chin here, he could get 2 for 1 with the amount of extra pace
he's got. He's in the grass! Oh my word, he's in the grass. He's still going to make a move. Oh my goodness. What a pass on Tamas Simon. And that for Kalen Chin was having to make commitment. He had 2 options. Either he had to force Tamas Simon to move over or back out. He chose the 3rd option, which is the pass in the grass.
and he somehow pulled it off. There is no way this pass should happen. I mean, he got boxed in, as you said. And I tell you what, the pace he had, he almost was able to get past Ugolotti. If there was another maybe 20 metres of road, he might have got it done.
And that's scary. That's how scary this track can be, that you can have to push. You will have to push to that sort of level. You can't afford to sit back and wait and effectively play the mind games. You've got to make moves as and when they come along. And the question's now going to be, how is Kaylin Chin's direct correlated pace in comparison to Matteo Ugolotti? Because if it's not the same, then that's trouble out there on track. On the brakes, your front five go in through the right and left. Then on lap 7 of 21, about to complete a third's distance in this race, and it's starting to look like Kaylin Chin is turning the screw. They hit the brakes, they go into the Lasso's hairpin, and they'll take the highest rise probably in all of motorsport. Eau Rouge to Radion, legendary in corner status.
Got an update from Harry Draper. He's had a VR failure, which is why he slowed at a spot nobody was expecting, no doubt including himself. So unfortunate, but that's one of the things that happens. Here comes Kaylin Chin again. Look at the pace. He's got 334.
334, and he was harvesting halfway through that straight.
Wow. Now, can he hold on, though, is the big question.
Well,
Anthony Cat finally through.
Yeah, he's made that pass. He's got himself through on Kent Nielsen, finally, but he would have used all the tyre life to make that happen. How important is it? Big wiggle from Tamas Simon, third in the line. Nearly brings Oliver Stepanov into play, who couldn't make the pass on the straight. Kaylin Chin now is going to have to look behind at these drivers and try and drive away from them, which is never the easiest challenge. And this is the sort of place today here, Jay, where it's not going to be easy to break away. It's also not going to be easy to make much difference on strategy, because it's going to be about a 2 to 3 lap window, surely, of everyone coming in.
Yeah, everyone's going to do pretty much the same thing. It may be a bit of follow the leader, but Kaylin Chin needs to use this pace that he's got right now. Now, the other part to this is his car set up really good for medium tyres and no good for softs? We've seen that in the past as well. So is he going to have to use all of this pace now and then we'll lose it all when it comes to the soft tyre later on in the race? We don't really know, but that is a legitimate possibility that we may see.
It's also a legitimate 7/10 of a second clear. Yeah. He finds himself with a 44.2 on that last lap. So he is flying at this moment in time as they go through. Trouble, it looks like, then, for Philip Yates at the final chicane. Ooh. He went through and he got attacked from behind from Ari Korkadilos, who was just a little bit late in on the brakes, was the Canadian.
A little bit of controversy here, and as you say, a little bit late on the brakes. How much contact was there? Probably not too much, enough. It's unfortunate for Yates, but he continues on. The positive is he's still in the right direction, still going, and hasn't lost too many spots, just the 2 from that.
Just the 2 retirees so far. Great deal of 19. Ugolotti almost in the wall, down the hill, through the left. That could have so easily have been disaster for him as he looked to charge in number 1, because this is where his car works best. Out on track, this middle sector is where Matteo Ugolotti is going to get all his time comparatively to Kaylin Chin, and he's trying to maximise it at this point.
Definitely is. He's trying to use every little bit that he's got, and some. Luis Nunez is just content sitting back watching and waiting. I'll tell you what, with the aggression level of the guys ahead of him, may not be a bad idea just to sit back and watch, because there's something brewing here. We talk about it a lot, where we've watched enough sim racing to know that you get a sense that something's about to go down that's not good. My spidey senses are tingling. I can feel it coming. I'm sure you can too. Something big is about to happen here, and I don't like the feeling I'm getting.
Well, passing the grass was the first thing as they go through, as Anthony Cat dives into the pits then and gets off of his soft tyres after just 8 full revolutions of the track. So that's big in terms of strategy, but up the hill they go once again, and he is not alone. You are correct. So he's not the only one who's coming in then for his stop, and it looks like Oyvind Haugland is going to join, but Oliver Stepanov now is going for the move, and he's going to quietly make the pass on Tamas Simon.
Beautiful job. Just using the pace and the momentum gets it done. Very, very nice move. Now, just been looking through while we've been talking there, the results from the last few races over the last few days. Pit window between lap 10 and lap 13 for almost every driver in the field of every race. Ugolotti, how close do you want to get to the wall?
Yes.
That should not have ended the way that did.
You can see down the hill, he is absolutely relying on grip. And this is the worst part about going through and risking that much out there for Matteo Ugolotti, is that he's not just driving on asphalt, he's driving over the AstroTurf that's down there and expecting the car to hook up on the runoff area there on the right-hand side.
That's what you call confidence in your car setup, isn't it? It's confidence in the way that you've made the car behave and made the car feel. The downfall is 1 second, finally broken. Ugolotti is now out of the draft. Out of the DRS range, I should say. No takers in the front.
No takers in the front, not yet anyway, and that's big. But behind, John Peterunda is going to dive into the pits then and get onto the soft compound tyre as soon as possible. Kent Nielsen is going to join. Adam Webb nearly spun it coming into the pits.
He makes it in, but yeah, we'll pick up another look at that.
How quickly it can go wrong. Virtual Racing School replay. Full opposite lock, trying to get that sorted.
That was close. He somehow held on to it, which is great to see, but that could have ended much, much worse. Gap at the front now, 1.2 seconds, so Ugolotti is now only looking behind. He can't look ahead to try and get the move back done. Too far back.
Too far back now, and suddenly his offensive mindset, number one, the Italian, is going to turn defensive because he'll have Oliver Stepanov in the Mag Performance car behind him. He'll have Tamas Simon, he'll have Luis Nunez, and they'll all try and go through. Now, this is John Peterunda, and this indicates to me 44 seconds in the box that he was caught speeding.
Yep, 40 seconds is the stop and hold penalty for speeding on pit entry. Take away the 40 seconds, leaves you with the 4-second normal stop. That is definitely a speeding in pit lane penalty, which hurts him so much. He was in 6th before the pit stops, now back as the last runner on the lead lap in 17th.
And that's a real shame. He was right up there. He was proving everything that he had and a bit more in today's racing, but he's fallen now way down the order. There's not much you can argue against in terms of how things go. Let's take a little look then at the Virtual Racing School replay as Felipe Giro dives into the pits. This is Matteo Ugolotti then on the brakes, and you can see just how much he's trying to push here, and he really does fight for every inch of track as he goes through. It's just a marvel to see him drive.
Watch the big slide that, like you saw there from the wheelwork, didn't really do too much, but that car was out of control there and could have quite easily snapped and shot him into the wall. No, didn't even stress about it, didn't even correct the car, just held onto the slide. These cars don't behave in that way at all, but he's somehow got the throttle control and the intelligence with this car just to make it do what he wants it to do. Doesn't care if it's in a slide or not.
Ari Corcadilos then out of the pits and pushing. And I tell you what's interesting now is where someone like Anthony Cat has come out in comparison to the rest of the field, because he's trying to go around the outside of Felipe Giro for position, couldn't quite manage it. And this is a big fight for Cat here.
Yep, remember Anthony Cat's now on the medium tyres. He pitted 2 laps ago. Giro's just come out of the pits. So, a little bit of smoke just ahead. I think that's from James Dempster, who's just ahead of these guys. So, see there too, some witness marks at the exit of No Name there, at the exit of Jackie X. So someone's had a moment there that we've missed as well.
Yeah, exit marks are not good at all. Everyone, at least right now, from what I can see, is still running in this race. So there is still opportunities brewing in this one. James Dempster, this would be for position with these drivers, but he's yet to come in and make his stop. And off the back, Luis Nunez will come in and make a stop for the leaders. But Dempster right now, he's looking at it, he's on the radio saying, Felipe, I'm not going to fight you. I might be coming in this lap. So don't try and push it too hard as he goes through. So here comes Giro with an almighty run down to the inside. He's going to get right up through. and make that pass because Dempster on cue was coming in.
And Cat nearly chopped him, chopped the nose, or had the nose chopped off there, sorry, and nearly lost his front wing.
Stepanov.
Stepanov through on Ugolotti, which was always going to happen, or you felt like it was going to happen, but I'm surprised by Ugolotti's pace here. His qualifying was so strong, but he just hasn't been able to replicate it in the race.
Do you feel maybe here, Jay's got a great qualifying car, but the race car isn't just quite the same?
Maybe it's not just the qualifying car. Maybe it's a soft tyre car.
Maybe it is, and we've seen how Matteo Ugolotti has been the driver of all drivers when it comes to the soft tyre, and everyone now surely is going to have to dive in here on lap 13 and cover off the moves that are being done here by Luis Nunez, who's rolled the dice comparatively to everyone else and has still, by the way, come out in 5th place. Virtual Racing School replay.
Look, Drs has made his way through on Adam Webb, and this is a beautiful classic Spa with DRS pass. With the momentum, pulls out, easy as you like, beautiful move.
Thank you very much. Kalen Chin will stay out, so too Stepanov, so too Ugolotti, so too Simon. Luis Nunez is driving himself into this race all of a sudden.
Yeah, Nunez with the undercut is playing into, this race is playing into his hands. We'll get a bit of a read of his pace next lap, but looking at the sectors on this outlap, personal best sectors, session best final sector for Nunez. Remember, he was at the back of this 5-car group. He could find himself at the front or right in the middle of this 5-car group. Will he have enough left in the tyres to defend? Remember, we saw last round the supreme overcut from Matteo Ugolotti. We thought he had no hope, but used those 6-lap better tyres to his advantage and was able to just overtake everyone. Maybe that's the strategy. Well, yeah, true. When I say everyone, not necessarily literally everyone, but was able to make massive overtakes very, very quickly. So maybe that's what everyone at the front is doing here, and Nunez is going, well, I've got to do something different to everyone else.
Yeah, and it may work for him at this point. Simon, Ugolotti, Stepanov, Chin. If everyone comes in at the same time, there's not much you can do. Hanging out to dry. Gap 17.5 seconds between Nunez and Simon. Is also worth noting, it's a very, very small pit lane here.
Yeah, it's a short pit lane, and when you compare it to a lot of other tracks, I mean, earlier we were doing the Porsche series at Imola, one of the longest pit lanes we'll see anywhere. Compare that to here, and yeah, very, very short pit lane, narrow pit lane, and a tough pit entry as well. In comes Chin, in comes Stepanov, in comes Ugolotti. Tamas Simon stays out.
He did that last time as they all go through. Ugolotti, have a look at Ugolotti when he's coming in. He nearly lost the car about 5 times trying to get that in. He was dancing it on the limit of the car, biting.
He's got wheel spin the whole way through, and I tell you what, he's lucky to not get a speeding penalty because look how late he was on the brakes as well. Away they go.
Oh, it's close on the exit. This is so close on the exit. Look at the drive that Luis Nunez is going to get. He's going to fight for the race lead here. All of a sudden, Kalen Chin's got to look out here. There'll be DRS on this straight. Up the hill they go. Eau Rouge, Radion. Now here comes the flick. DRS marker board on the left-hand side. And all of a sudden, Luis Nunez here is going to get a ticket to ride to the race lead.
Beautiful. Luis Nunez through into race lead. Effective race lead. Last lap by, fastest lap of the race, at 1 minute 42.9. Compare that to the fastest before that. Was by Matteo Ugolotti, 143.7. Felipe Giro has beaten that since he's been out there on the sauce, but on that first run, this lap from Nunez, about a second quicker than we've seen from anyone else in the field.
It moves Ugolotti down to 4th position. That's big for points for the likes of Oliver Stepanov and Kalen Chin, and even Luis Nunez, who has an outside shot at the championship. Tamas Simon still out there on tracks, needing an uber overcut to get through this race. Should be due in on this lap 7 laps to go. It'll be 6 to go when he crosses the line, and he will need to put his best overtaking boots on because he's going to dive into the pits as the Hungarian, and he's going to need an almighty stop. Here comes the scrap, though, between one Mr. Kalen Chin and the other driver, Luis Nunez, thinking about it, but it's going to wait for it because there's a much better place called the Kemmel Straight where he can make that pass. Watch out for pit exit.
One to watch out, I think, Oliver Stepanov, who's now well and truly in the fight, and Ugolotti a little bit further back. Tamas Simon still stopped. He's going to drop all the way to the back of this group, may even be out of DRS range.
Way out of DRS range.
Yeah. Not the best strategy play.
No, gamble doesn't pay off for Tamas Simon to do the opposite of what everyone else does, is put him way out of position. Here's the look from the rear view of Luis Nunez, who leads this race. Kalen Chin searching for a way through. He's going to go the long way around to make this pass, and he's going to move back into the race lead. He's got a rocket ship behind him of a Mercedes AMG engine.
Session best first sector with the DRS and with the ERS deployment as well. Everyone in the group except for Nunez has done their best first sector on this lap, so it's incredible pace out there. And already, since Chin has got into the lead, he's already at the 1 second bracket. He's about to break a second on half a flying lap.
That's incredible, and it just shows you how much pace Kalen Chin has today. That second qualifying lap maybe might have been a banker out there, and he's had to do some work in the race today to really get the race pace out. But Oliver Stepanov now's got to find a pass on his teammate. How easy is this going to be when both of them want to challenge for the championship at the end next week when we're at Zandvoort to end the championship out entirely? Here comes Oliver Stepanov with a thought. It's just that, a thought. It brings right in Matteo Ugolotti, who has to sit in, who has to watch. Now you've really got to find a move if you're Oliver Stepanov. Otherwise, you're in a situation right now here, Jay. It's overtake or be overtaken.
No DRS for Luis Nunez down the front straight as well. So you can see that the rear wings were open for Stepanov and Ugolotti, but not for Luis Nunez. So he is now 1.2 seconds back, out of DRS. He's in a bit of trouble. He's probably going to lose 1, maybe 2 spots here down the straight when we thought he was competing for the lead.
Well, here goes the one place. Oliver Stepanov pulls over to the right-hand side, makes the move on Luis Nunez. Nothing he can do. Ugolotti closes right up under the brakes. He is going to try and put as much pressure as he can through Malmedy and over to Bruce Shells. He's going to look for the inside here. On the brakes he goes. Wonderful move by Matteo Ugolotti. He had to get through at the earliest available opportunity, and he did so.
Beautiful job. I'm surprised that he was able to get that done. One thing I did notice was Luis Nunez was on the harvest as early as he possibly could to make sure he held that spot down the Kemmel Straight, but it wasn't enough. Wondering if Nunez has used everything he had in his deployment to make sure that he could hold on to the spot. James Dempster just threw on Marcel Fassbender as well, so Fassbender starting to struggle on those hard tyres now. But, this battle at the front is not done because Oliver Stepanov, with the pace he's got on this lap, now got the gap within a second already.
Kalen Chin is not safe. Oliver Stepanov knows that at current he's about 20 points back in the championship, and this would be
DRS.
ideally a 30-point swing. DRS then, as he'll come onto the front stretch. Not much of a place to make the move, but if he's closing those gaps in, he's going to have to try and find a pass on Kalen Chin. We haven't really seen Chin versus Stepanov all race long. 4 laps to go. He's got to close up about a quarter of a second every lap.
This is going to be intense, isn't it? It's going to be a brilliant finish to this race. I cannot wait to see how it plays out. We've seen some brilliant battles all season long between Kalen Chin and Oliver Stepanov. That battle that we saw for the first half of the race at Fuji was one of the best we've seen in this series overall. If we could see half as good a battle for the end of this race, bring it on. This is going to be brilliant.
I just took a look at high speeds going up the Kemmel Straight. There's only about 7 kilometers an hour difference between Kalen Chin and Oliver Stepanov, which means the middle sector is where all that time is coming back to car number 2 right now. On the brakes, flicking through double gauche left as they go through. And then they've got this Fania chicane, the right and the left. It's surprisingly quick. as you go through. You're so reliant on aerodynamics through this section of track, putting the power down as early as possible. Very small straight before flicking it through the campus corner and over towards Stavolo. This, for Oliver Stepanov now, is chase it down, and he'll be hounded every stage of the way by number 1, Matteo Ugolotti.
Have a look at who's caught onto the back of the train too. Tamas Simon is in DRS range from Luis Nunez. Because they're on 3-lap different tyre lives, but Tamas Simon, within a second, he's going to get DRS. Luis Nunez is also going to get DRS on Matteo Ugolotti. Tamas Simon is not out of this.
He's not. He gained 2 seconds on Nunez that last time by. Is Oyvind Horgland having a great fight with Anthony Cat. He'll try and go to the outside, trying to get past the medium tyre runner, and he's not going to get the move. He's going to have to find another way.
And here comes Kokadis as well in there too. So interesting dynamic in this battle too. So all sorts of different tyre lives and tyre types in that group.
Here comes...
Yep, Tamas Simon's going to get through.
Tamas Simon on the outside, making this one happen. Plain as day under brakes. Moves up then into 4th position, and his chasing right now, I'm not sure on the pace of last lap he's got enough. Horgland now trying to find a way through. The Norwegian past Anthony Cat and Korkadilos. God, blimey, what a move that is. He gets through under braking. Anthony Cat's medium tyres saying, I've got nothing to fight that.
Well, in saying that, he got the move done into Blanchimont the last lap. So Anthony Cat not necessarily out of this. He got past Horgland on the run into Blanchimont, but then has obviously lost the spot with the DRS. So he could come back again through this middle phase of the lap and find himself back ahead again. This is incredible. I don't know where we should watch. Stepping off 7 tenths back. Is he going to be able to close that gap down over the next 2 laps? I say yes. I say we're going to have a battle right to the end.
I'd say there's still an opportunity left. 2 and a bit laps to go. And Oliver Stepanov is looking here, the Austrian, against the Australian who lives in Singapore in terms of finding that overtake, finding that one extra position that could be so vital between now and the end of the season. Another good battle going on is 16th and 17th as the Yestin Chiapalone tries to find a way past Christophe Mont, and we'll have a look. This is Mont actually making the pass then down the inside at Bruxelles, medium on soft. Not often that we see that move happen.
Yeah, that's the same sort of thing as what I said with Anthony Cat, how he got that move done earlier. So the medium tyres may be starting to come into their own after about 6 or 7 laps on the softs. That might be the limit for some of these guys on the softs. That may be why we've seen these guys go so long at the front of the field. Gap now, 4.5 tenths of a second.
4.5 under brakes only for Oliver Stepanov. He's got to find a pass there next lap, otherwise he'll be waiting for the final chicane. This is where he's got to battle against the dirty air. The turbulence is brought out as he goes through right out against the wall. He goes trying to get that sorted, and a battle a little bit further back on as Korkadilos makes the pass on Oyvind Horgland, puts him up to 8th. -1 on his grid position. Remember, he started from the pits today as they went through, and still Stepanov looks to hound down Kalen Chin, who's just doing enough right now, but only just.
Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit concerned with how close Stepanov is now. He was much more confident with it being 7 tenths to start the final lap, but it's now down to 5.5. It'll be 5 when they get to the DRS markers on the Kemmel Straight. How much has Kalen Chin got in that ERS, in that attack mode, to hold on to this position? I'll be hoping for his sake he's got enough, but this is going to be a classic finish.
Battery deploy is now everything. Last lap here at the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps, and that's not a good turn 1 from Oliver Stepanov. Kalen Chin builds the gap out to nearly 7 tenths of a second, and that might just be the security blanket he was certainly hoping for as he crests the rise and now runs up the Kemmel Straight for the final time here today at the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps. Zandvoort, 1 week from today, secures the title. Stepanov nowhere near close enough to make that move. Ugolotti shadowing every stage of the way, but that's frustrating. That one moment at La Source.
Yep, one little moment's all it's taken for that to be all over. This is Anthony Cat with the momentum down the Kemmel Straight on Oyvind Horgland, but Horgland looks like he's done enough to hold on. and harvesting at the same time. So he's got battery to spare. Stepanov, is he going to be able to come back through here? I don't think he's got enough left in it. I thought that run was his last chance. Despite the fact that Kalen Chin's car has been set up for top speed, he's still had some good pace through the middle phase of the lap.
But how much did he really use on that straight? That's the next question. Moving through then this penultimate section of track, going through Stavolo, now towards Blanchimont. Kalen Chin has really had a rocket ship of a car that has been so good in a straight line that it's put everybody else to shame in terms of making moves. Oliver Stepanov has to come from a league back if he wants to make the pass, and he's not going to get there. Kalen Chin will round the final corner. Championship back on. He takes the victory here at Spa. Stepanov second, Ugolotti in third. Top five in the end, a split by 4.5 seconds, and still Haugland and Cat fight it out.
Yeah, side by side in the run into Blanchimont, and this time Anthony Cat backed out of it. He was a bit more ambitious early. I thought that the nose was going to get chopped off there for Anthony Cat, but Owen Haugland will hold on to 9th. Anthony Cat up 4 positions, good result for him, but this man here, Adam Webb, biggest mover in the field. He'll get +7 from where he started. Started in 18th, finishes 11th. Great job from him. But Kalen Chin, Oliver Stepanov, Matteo Ugolotti, what a podium that is. The top 3 in the championship finish 1, 2, 3.
They do, and it closes up that gap, you'd feel, a little bit more. Big points on offer. Kalen Chin, 36 minutes, 48 seconds, is going to win by a margin of 0.6 of a second at the end over Oliver Stepanov, who pushed him late on, and Matteo Ugolotti, who has, for the most part this season, been the form setter, the trendiest man in terms of how you run this iRacing Grand Prix Series. He can only manage third. Tamas Simon will take fourth. His strategy to pit a little later than everyone else, not quite paying off. And Luis Nunez, who for a moment had the race lead in this one, the tyres fell off a cliff, and that's why he fell back to 5th position. Felipe Giro would finish 6th, with 2 Canadians, Kent Nielsen and Ari Korkadilos, finishing 7th and 8th, with Oyvind Haugland finishing in 9th position, and Anthony Cat rounding out the top 10 as he couldn't get close enough in the final stages. Adam Webb was your biggest mover in the field, despite the fact that Ari Korkadilos started in the pit lane here today. He's up 7, moving up to 11th, with James Dempster in 12th. Marcel Fassbender would like to write this one off in 13th position. So too, to some respects, would Philip Yates in 14th. John Petarunda had a drive-through penalty or a stop and hold for 40 seconds of speeding. That's why he finished 15th, just ahead of Iestin Chiapalone and Christophe Mont, 16th and 17th. The 2 retirees, a VR failure for Harry Draper in 18th, and then Thomas Veek opening lap into the wall on the left-hand side. Maybe brake balance, maybe the magic button, but troubles nevertheless. An old school feel for the final round of the season, Jay. It is Zandvoort. We're on the Dutch dunes. We're just outside of Amsterdam, and this is a track where qualifying is the king.
It's going to be a very, very interesting race. I mean, the only reason we'll see it is the finale, is we're matching the real-world schedule, but not a track you would expect to see a final round on. Nonetheless, it has been a very, very entertaining racetrack in these cars in the past, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it does race. Bring it on. It's going to be a fantastic finish to the championship. Unfortunately, we won't have you here for next week, Sperry, but I'm sure you'll watch it back later on and enjoy the championship finale.
Absolutely. I believe I'm clashing something at a castle somewhere, so I'll be looking forward to that, and I'll be also looking forward 1 week from today, same time, same place. If you want to tune in here with us at SimSpeed TV to watch the final round of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. If you haven't had the chance to already, like, share, subscribe for more amazing content brought to you here by us at SimSpeed TV. Want to give a massive thanks to the iRacing Open Wheel community who help bring us the Grand Prix Series each and every week. It is a joy to be able to cover a series like this. On top of that, thanks to the Virtual Racing School who have been on the replays for us here for this iRacing Grand Prix Series. From Jay Kennedy and myself, Jake Sperry, Kalen Chin has now ignited this championship. It all comes down to one final race in the Dutch dunes. That is Zandvoort. It's Chin, Stepanov, Ugolotti, and you do not want to miss it. We'll see you 1 week from today, and we'll see you at Zandvoort.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. the opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.